route. Say, look, I've got an insane front line. Cassiopeia, Jhin here to round it all out. You get the information about what's in the bottom lane first here for DPLUS Kia.
All right, what is Smash going to be playing? Is going to be the question here. And what is Xiu's answer to the Ambessa? So I guess one of the options. This is an interesting time where the Vayne wasn't actually banned away.
He could opt for it. It's a statement of confidence by HANWHA Life Esports for sure that they banned the Gnar instead. Ezreal here for Smash was the pick he True Shot barraged his way to the finals with in that first game against Gen G.
Man, that was such a
It's been a favorite of his.
Barrage. My goodness.
It's been a favorite of his. It is the most commonly picked AD carry in this meta. That is, of course, traditional AD carry.
Yep.
See what that final pick is going to be here into this Ambessa. Vayne, I think not necessary here. They could just try to front to back. We'll see what they want to do. Could be a Cassante. The Olaf.
Olaf is a fun angle. That's what they're looking for into the Ambessa. So you don't necessarily have the same level of mobility. You were released about 10 years earlier, but I think we'll still be able to throw some axes around this lane. And if you find your all-in window, you can make things very, very difficult for HANWHA Life Esports. You can also just chain deaths until it's the end of the game. So we'll see what Xiu is going to be able to get done here on the Viking. And one more pickup. What is Guma playing?
He played Xerath in Kespa Cup.
He did.
And it looks like he's going to do it again.
No! Okay, it doesn't actually happen. The Aurora is going to be locked in.
He's playing Cassiopeia, I think.
All right.
It's the Aurora into Orianna that we've seen a few times. He's going to pick the Cassiopeia ultimate.
Sort it all out completely. So we'll see how it does go here. The Orianna, a coveted pick at the moment, though. It's gone to the Rift, get into the game. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for the first game of our second series of the night. HANWHA Life Esports, fresh MSI champions versus DPLUS Kia, who just came back picking up the EWC trophy. Both of them finding success, but they haven't met up actually on Summoner's Rift since the HLE the HLE win over DPLUS Kia in the road to EWC a long time ago.
Yeah.
See what has changed moving into this one. I like the DPLUS Kia draft, I'll say that. But I also just feel like HLE are very, very scary as Showmaker's going to flash at level 1.
This is why we see Camille banned usually in the first phase a lot. She's very, very strong. All she needs is one ability to actually ruin everyone's day. As you mentioned, without the support, without any engages, Smash will be able to use his range here with his Mystic shots to continue to annoy Gumayusi. But now that Delight is here, he's going to have to be a little more careful. Looking for the taunt.
Yeah, very nice double taunt to come through from Korea. Utilizes the Aftershock to make things happen. And she is throwing axes around. Zeus is in a little bit of trouble. The last undertow will not land.
He did use his Ghost for this, though, mind you.
I mean, it is Ghost and Teleport, though, in this lane. I don't know whether that's going to deter Xiu here all that much. However, he did absolutely have to win the all-in. If Zeus had to come out on top, it would have been very bad for the Olaf without that ability to sort of cheat a recall.
Yeah, I just don't think he'll be able to do that to Zeus again. So Zeus, with this wave pushing through, should be fine here, unless he makes a mistake. And there is no jungle attention up here, so a little bit of tempo gotten by Xiu, as he will take this back here, but not going to be the end of the world for Zeus. If he got hit by that last undertow, would have been a different story potentially. Very close there.
Yeah,
in the exchange. But showcasing he has a lot of mastery in this matchup, and this niche pick Olaf that is doing incredible. Well. I believe his win rate was like 75%, something like that. First time we've seen this one in a while. Aiming played it into Deft in 2020.
My goodness, when Deft was back on DRX. Crazy times.
Pretty cool tech into the Callista pick in hindsight.
Yeah, also kind of funny that Aiming was on KT back then. He then since, moved around, DPLUS Kia, all sorts of things, and then found his way back and has now left. So there you go.
Well, he's still there. He's just not playing at the moment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no. So hasn't moved to a different org, but is no longer, or isn't playing at the moment.
Yeah, he's taken a little bit of a back seat to Fenrir, who's looking really good, but
yeah,
I know a lot of that has been discussed yesterday, so I'm not going to rehash it all out today, but Kanavi up here with Delight. TP commitment here from Zeka. It's an incredible dive angle onto this Olaf. It does have flash. Let's see how much it gets him.
Yeah, there are 4 people in this lane, Wolf. They're going to make sure that the Olaf is dead.
So the
he
reason
doesn't have teleport.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. You could see she was not happy about it. Opts not to flash because he knows he's super dead. And he gets chain CC'd anyways on the initial play. But the reason why they go for this, which is more valuable than the plate that Showmaker grabs here and some of the lost farm, which is still ahead on farm, by the way. We'll get some of this wave from Zeka, is that there's no TP. So he's essentially going to be starved after the fact of money. As they're trying to make something happen here bottom side now. DPLUS on the cross, but won't even really get much out of this either. So HANWHA life.
Okay, so HLE do have a gold advantage as a result of this, but I actually kind of think that this was fine for DPLUS. Because I think Guma lost an entire wave as well. Zeka definitely lost a cannon and most of a wave in mid lane, and Showmaker picked up a plate. He doesn't have flash though, so maybe this is what they're going to be able to pick up for themselves. The Showmaker Command Protect is pretty powerful, and the last tick of Ignite is not going to be enough as he drinks his potion.
By the way, this is what Guma has been for this roster so often. Is Shiu, no Ghost still.
Yeah.
He is Olaf at low health, so a little bit scary to try to further that. But Guma is just, he lost some farm, right? He's a wave down now. But he just is the one they leave behind. And they're like, okay, I see what you're saying, Atlas. You know, is it a big enough advantage? They try to push on the Showmaker. If they get that kill, if that Ignite ticks down one more, it's an additional kill. The Camille getting accelerated is a big thing, even in the support role.
Oh dear, Shiu is just dead. Does manage to pick up a shield, and he's going to be fine. Never mind.
They didn't have vision in the river, so I guess they were like, Lucid could be there. I don't know, this could be tricky. Low health, Olaf, a little spooky, but ultimately he's lucky that he gets away here, but he still doesn't have teleport.
Yeah, and he did have a slight CS advantage a little bit earlier on. Now that will belong to Zeus, as he's going to have to run his way back up towards his top side. Lucid could pick up what is, left of this wave before he gets here, but Crystalline Overgrowth going to get eaten here by Zeus, and he'll go for a cheetah recall himself. So looking a whole lot better here now for the top laner of HLE.
Smash trying to, with no supports in this lane, the range advantage, try to generate advantage, but this is what I was talking about with Guma. Hard to actually punish him in this 1v1, and he's happy to just farm it out. Yes, he's behind, but this is the position that it's almost like he thrives in it and pops off later on.
Ooh. Okay, Korea just some supportal combat, but that is not going to be real. Shockwave is going to connect as Korea looks for an angle. Delight is just dead though. Lucid grabs the first kill for DPLUS Kia, and it is a great response here out of DPLUS.
A little bit of a buffer there, a stun to come through that actually forces a second flash to be used by Lucid. So it looked cool for a moment. And did get the second flash, but ultimately still does die here and pushes DPLUS into a gold lead.
Yeah.
Again, a kill onto a Xin. Still a very even game state here.
The problem for me is that if the Orianna is allowed to just kind of cruise through this early game and become powerful, grab a couple of items, this could get very, very difficult for HANWHA Life Esports. We've seen Auroras never really be able to match the value of an Orianna in the later stages of the game unless they get pretty accelerated.
It's just so simple when you're ahead as Ori to just put a Q down and say, well, you can't be anywhere near this. And now the entire team fight is warped around that fact. Not to mention when you have an Olaf and a Xin that can get into the thick of things, even a Shen. It can be very, very hard to avoid getting hit by that shockwave, even if you're not walking where that ball is on the ground, because it's going to get moved. But yeah, I like how DPLUS played that. I liked how they were proactive around that moment. We're able to get a small punish there. Guma is the big question mark, right? Because Cassiopeia classically takes a long time to get online. And if this mid game goes well for DPLUS and that 2-item spike comes through for Smash, they're going to be really online there. If they can grab the first dragon, for example, I think it would do wonders for DPLUS's chances of sailing through that mid game. We'll see if they can do it, because right now they do have control, but no jungler on the bottom side of the map.
Yep. Zeka taking a bit of damage here from Showmaker, who throws out the combo. And she will be able to make it back towards this top side. Slowly but surely getting towards that quest so that he can actually start teleporting around, but will not get that huge shield that Zeus will have for himself. She now wanting to be able to safely farm. Good ward does spot out Delight towards that top side. Kanavi starting the grubs. And Korea, he's over here. It's going to be one grub going over to Kanavi, and I think wisely will not stick around as Delight. Wind becomes lightning. Oh dear. He's going to try and hookshot wall dive his way out. It's going to be a rough time. However, Kanavi was looking to come on over and punish. There's a shockwave once again. And Korea, I don't think he's going to be able to lock down Kanavi, but Zeus is also just going to have to distract them with an ultimate of his own. And the last remaining grubs will go towards DPLUS gear. But not having anyone die there, kind of crazy.
That was quite fancy, the way that HLE played that. As Delight gets out, as you mentioned, grubs do go over. Kanavi had to use his flash to escape, and arguably Zeus' ultimate was somewhat involved in that as well. Smash is in trouble, has flash on E, so should be okay.
Yeah, able to arcane shift away. Delight not really wanting to tank up these minions.
Delight has not been
the Ezreal.
Speaking of minions, really near too many of them. It was level 3 until getting this wave here, so we'll catch up a little bit. But you can see that damage coming through from Smash on a very squishy Camille. Does really hit.
Oh yeah, starting to hurt. But Guma is going to be able to get this wave shoved in. Korea does make his way back down towards the bottom side though, so I imagine Gumushi is just going to back away. Not looking for plates necessarily right now. Zeus with a slight level advantage. She very close to level 8 himself, but the fact that this Ambessa is doing just fine in this matchup is boding pretty well for HANWHA esports. You're taking a while to get through all of the shields and shenanigans that the Ambessa can throw out, but I think if in a full commitment, the Olaf should still be pretty scary.
Even though Smash survived that exchange, he's losing a lot of farm. Guma's caught up with Smash as a result of that. Career trying to catch the wave there, hold it, but so much denied. So this is really huge for HANWHA esports. The game is dead even right now, but one of the biggest boons for DPLUS was that small Ezreal advantage. Picks up another wave here, and we'll pick that, again, small advantage back up, but Guma's in a pretty comfortable spot right now. One of the things about Olaf we haven't talked about, we've seen a few times, Doran has showcased it quite a bit. When you get to late game into a comp like this that feels like it's got a ton of lockdown, Olaf just keeps coming. He just keeps running at you.
And Kanavi can like press R and then you just Ragnarok and just sort of walk past as he's like dancing with nothing next to you. It is quite funny.
Like Guma positioning when you have this draft with the Ambessa, with the Vi, you can play anything and feel otherwise generally safe because they're going to have to kill a lot of other people before they can touch you. But Olaf does kind of change that equation a little bit.
Smash, ladies and gentlemen, is in some trouble. There's the flash over the W, which was kind of crazy there. Smash trying to fight it out against Gumayushi. Can he actually get it? One more auto, and he picks it up, the 1-for-1. Korea comes in, though. He had to expend the ultimate, but he's able to shadow dash his way back to the turret. Oh my goodness, Smash, that was pretty cool.
Smash on Ezreal, ladies and gentlemen, as Kanavi's going to find out Lucid's in this bush, and I don't know how much he's going to like it.
Yeah, Career is almost dead to minions, actually, as he's following past. There is the Crescent Guard. Career is still going in, however, as Lucid picks up that kill on his opposite number. The flash out from Career will keep him alive for now, as Delight's moving in. Lucid is going to be moving out. And in the meantime, yeah, Showmaker is just making crockery money.
This is a huge win here for DPLUS in the extended exchange. Oh, maybe not necessarily anymore.
Good ward is going to be there as Lucid stays alive for a very long time. Becca a little bit scared of it, but the True Shot Barrage does just pick the gap. And that is going to be a nice answering kill to even out that number. 500 gold the lead for DPLUS here, but this one's still real close.
So Aurora has 3 kills now. So that's, ultimately when we looked at the play on the bottom side before that, that was something we could have said, but when he had 2, we got the 3rd one there. Now you're like, okay, it was really good for DPLUS Skia, and now it was still okay for the Ezreal, who ends up getting that kill back there, is now much significantly more ahead of Guma, but there is a cost in the Aurora that is now really fed.
Wow.
So he's playing through this.
That exhaust, absolutely pivotal here. I don't think he could have played that better.
Yeah, I really don't think so either. And then here, Lucid is in the brush. Kanavi is not aware of it. And he just uses the Crescent Guard to prevent Zeka from damaging him further here. Then Career comes over, and there's actually a lot of wiggle room here, right? Career flashes away, and Zeka doesn't want to chase any further because he doesn't have any ability to catch Lucid there initially. But Lucid is found and taken out in the aftermath by Zeka. So Aurora ahead, Ezreal ahead. Still a very close game.
Oh, yeah. Zinzao also very far ahead. 2-1-0 is Lucid this game. Does have his Sundered Sky completed. Not going for the Kanavi special in the Hydra, but still going to be very, very powerful and definitely stronger in skirmishes, even if he doesn't necessarily have all of the clear speed the Titanic Hydra does give you. Smash just going to come and help Lucid out here as he does take down his Gromp. It's Kanavi getting as much information that he can, but will give away his position here as Lucid finds him.
Lucid going to clear this control ward that Kanavi dropped earlier in that fight.
Yeah.
Shiu just biding his time up here. Unfortunately for him, Lucid's a little bit more interested in the more relevant parts of the map right now, so he's just going to have to sit under this turret and, you know, hunker down a little bit. Lucid will get this dragon on the other side, and so DPLUS will get this dragon here at 14 minutes, very late.
Yeah, it's a super late dragon. Didn't we have third Drake at 17 minutes or something in our previous series?
Yeah,
game one?
in the game one we did.
That's crazy.
That was like lightning fast. This is snail slow.
Yeah. I'm glad that we're seeing both sides of the coin. As Korea just wanting to try and leech some experience here, as his Olaf is boosting his way back towards this top lane. Thankfully, there's a cannon, so that did manage to eat a lot of what that wave would have died to. So nicely done. And Shiu is now, with his Hydra now complete. Let's see what the build is going to look like, but it's probably just Stride Breaker into something.
Herald, I would argue, is more valuable here for HANWHA Life Esports than it is for DPLUS, given how much time Showmaker's had with this mid-turret. The fact that it has Crystalline Evergrowth on it right now, it's basically dead to any interaction with it, and that's going to open the map up for DPLUS. I think HANWHA Life Esports with this Aurora Vicomp really need that mid-turret down, so they want to fight for this. They absolutely want this to break open the middle of the map so that Kanavi has tons more agency through this mid-game. They're grouped for it. DPLUS are not. Shiu does have teleport now as Role Quest is completed, but I think it might be too late here for a contest. Career is going to spot this out, and I think they just simply will give this up and try to put the focus instead on defending the Herald.
Lucid is going to walk his way in, but they're not going to be able to stop this Herald from going down. Ensuing fight not going to happen either, but Herald for mid-outer turret, I think you'll probably take that if you are DPLUS.
Exactly, that's the proper play. Don't take a poor fight with no setup there when you have already done so much damage to the mid-turret.
And in the meantime, I mean, they're just waiting for Smash to get online. Does have his Trinity Force now, still waiting for the Mirror Mana. And Showmaker will just get stronger and stronger as this game goes on. He's the Orianna, so they're in no rush. So you may as well not take the potentially losing fight. Moving up to a 1.4k gold advantage. As now Delight goes in, they're looking for Showmaker. They'll find him as, yeah, Shockwave comes in, but he's already dead as it goes off. And that is the first kill for Zeus, and a pretty scary time here if anyone wants to face this Ambessa.
Now Kanavi's on the other side of the map.
All right, now looking for that angle. Goes between the worlds as Ragnarok has to be used, and he walks it off.
Still going to be a ton of damage onto this turret. In fact, it's probably just going to be the whole thing. They've got a huge wave here to push this one down. And the reason why Kanavi, or what Showmaker didn't know, or thought he knew, I suppose, was with that control ward he had in the jungle of HLE, was that Kanavi's not there, so he could be that far up. He didn't know Delight was there. He found out Kanavi was on the other side of the map when Shiu was forced out there. Lost his ultimate, lost his turret, so HANWHA Life Esports get the win on the top side of the map here, but also on the bottom side. Notice Showmaker has a control ward on the Tri-Brush, but the engage range of this Camille, I think, is more than he calculated for in this one. And Hookshot Wall Dive into the public execution is very, very difficult to get out of the way of. And so the Camille Ambessa combination working very, very nicely. And so now gold is absolutely neck and neck. A little bit of an advantage here as far as neutral objectives are concerned for DPLUS Kia, but that is about it. And so I think the conversation about where this game is going to go later on is going to be important, as Delight might be in a little bit of trouble here. Does get knocked up by the 3-talon strike. And Korea is going to look for this one. Nice taunt is going to connect, so Delight's definitely dead. Zeka not going to be able to offer too much back there as he gets a bit of damage down, but will not save the Camille. The Herald hasn't been used yet. You know, they haven't been able to get enough footing in the middle of the map to actually take that turret out, and this is going to be another turret going down here for HLE in the bottom lane. As all that pressure is applied, Showmaker gets this one. Now they're dropping it mid. Smash is heading over to try to defend. We'll see if they can actually get that whole turret down. I think there's a Crystalline, yeah, it was procced there. But they don't get the turret, and that's a big problem here for HLE. They need it.
Whoa, Arcane Shift in from Smash was kind of crazy. There's 2 seconds left on the cease and desist. So thankfully, they had a very accurate count on that cooldown. Otherwise, I imagine Kanavi would have pressed the button. He's Kanavi. He press the button.
Career also doesn't have his ult, so wouldn't have been able to really help out there. There's a plate left on that turret. 45 seconds left on the Dragon. The fact that it's still up means that HLE are going to have to do something creative here. They may just simply give the Dragon because You know, it's a late dragon here. We're already 18.5 minutes in. The Cassiopeia's got 3 minutes left for Rod. It's going to be so strong later on. Ezreal's about to transform his Muramana for 2 items, so, you know, pick your battles, I think is the simplest way to say this. But it is HLE. The general rule is pick every battle.
Yeah. It is go in. That is generally the rule.
They're just finding out recently that they don't have to pick the battle. There's picking not battling. Which is a big reason why they won MSIs. They were able to adapt a ton of styles through the road to MSI, as well as the tournament itself. Tons of adaptation, but they are going to send Delight over here to try to get some information about a potential contest.
Yeah, Kanavi is over there. Zeus is going to be able to take down this outer turret, but does still have teleport at the ready. Let's see whether Kanavi can get this steal. He's not able to. Does get into the pit, but does get himself away. Still, HLE, they take down the top outer turret. It is still a decent move for them as, oh god, it's a Chemtech Soul. And sometimes I'd be like, oh, Ox, what did you do? This is an Olaf draft.
But it's also an Ambessa draft.
Yeah, and an Ambessa draft. Like, this is an incredible Chemtech Soul game for both teams. We do have Olaf kept in the pen, but gets a big old shield. There's cease and desist from Kanavi. Can he get himself out of this turret range? That's the question. The answer is yes. Has to use the flash to do so. As HLE are also looking for an inner turret here. True Shot Barrage does get double value. But Zeus is just pushing them away.
I think that Xiu, he held his flash for so long, didn't go so all there. I think he was just thinking that if he could hold his ground with the Shen ultimate, they were actually going to be able to turn that into a winning play. You could see when we watch the replay, you'll see it, but you could see in a moment there was a moment, okay, hold up, we have a deep TP here to get the punish on Zeus, so it looks like ultimately we'll get at least something out of this.
Yeah, it looks like Hidemaker is turning into Showmaker here in this game, Wolf, as he has teleported in. Zeus is, surrounded completely. 3-talent strike comes in. He's doing some funny business, but that is going to be Baron locking down the kill. The answering Baron will ensue, and let's see whether this one's going to be fast enough, because it's 20 minutes and 30 seconds. She has teleport. Let's see whether he can do it. I mean, this Baron is going down quite slowly, and it is a 4 versus 5 in theory. They make their way over. Delight is just dead. This Baron was optimistic at best, and Lucid will deliver an orb to the enemy jungler, and they'll say thanks for the leash. DPLUS are now so far ahead.
The crowd roars because this is a huge swing in this game. HANWHA had so much control. They played the dragon contest perfectly. I mean, that was so brilliant, right? They got the top turret. They had Kanavi there for a 50-50 steal. Zeus' teleport ready. Everything about how they played that dragon into the push in the bottom lane was brilliant. But then they just got too greedy. As we go all the way back to this, don't be surprised if we do jump out of this. But Xiu here is just trying to buy time. He's got the Shen ultimate coming. Flashes away at the last ball second because Lucid's here. It looks like Lucid's like, I'm going to flash for a Crescent Guard here to trap Kanavi. But he doesn't opt for it. He gets Kanavi's flash instead. And now he comes over here, still flash in hand. They look for the play. Delight goes in super early just to buy space, and they just blow him up while basically ignoring him. And then the follow-up here with the flash that Lucid didn't use in that bottom lane play allows him to get in here and close the gap, push HLE away, and secure the Baron. A bit greedy here from HANWHA. They thought they could turn Zeus' death into a larger advantage. It's Zeus' death into a bigger disadvantage as a result.
Yeah, and I like the idea of capitalizing, but they needed to just leave. They absolutely needed to leave when they realized they didn't have enough damage to take down the Baron that early. And it's been long enough that the Baron's been this tanky, right? Like, it's not much of an excuse. Like, you know that, you see that health bar going down, just leave. Just get out of there. It's too dangerous. Not to be the case. I mean, if HLE are anything, they're courageous, okay? They are brave.
Confident.
They stick around. But I don't know, sometimes bravery and stubbornness are very close friends. Let's just say that. Smash now holding the wave just outside this inner turret. And this game could really just fall away from HLE now.
I want to remind everyone that mid turret is still up for DPLUS. Like, that's how much control they've had.
And that was hit by a Herald too.
Yeah. And that means that the Vi can't make any tricky plays, really. The wave is always caught by the turret, so it's hard to actually get control over any of the objectives or any of the prio. And that's why the mid turret is so important. And now they just have to deal with a Baron defense, so getting into range to touch that turret feels like it is light years away. Smash going to take out this inner here, and DPLUS are just really ballooning in gold now, looking for that third item for Smash. He probably has it on his next back here.
Yep. Hexplate done here for Shiu as well. He's going to have the Ragnarok whenever he will need it. And Smash just rotating over, taking down turrets all over the place. More plates raining down. And honestly, like, Smash has just been incredible on this Ezreal so far over the last, honestly, like, month or so, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's really started to become the big carry for DPLUS that I think we've been waiting for quite some time.
I think Smash has always been really good at Ezreal. He's been really good at Caitlyn. But when DPLUS aren't playing as a full unit, it's hard to see that sometimes. Now they're going to try to punish him.
Yeah, they're going to challenge. They're going to make sure that they are playing like that unit. As Showmaker gets close in on the two-man Shockwave is too good out of Showmaker. And that is going to be the ultimatum thrown down. DPLUS say what? I don't really care. We'll take your ultimatum. Zeus doesn't find the public execution, but it is Gumayushi taking down this Shen. And these health bars are getting lower and lower. So it is a one fight in theory from DPLUS, but they cannot move further.
Yeah, no, never underestimate that Ambessa with her buttons up. Because, she absolutely will get the punish as they turn this engage here onto Showmaker. Showmaker's like, thanks for giving me the setup for the double. As look at the Zeka goes back in and Showmaker says, thank you very much. You turned my
and he waits for Zeka to deliver himself as like, well. It's crazy.
I was going to look for the one-man peel for myself. Let's look at this flash from Career too. But Zeus is like, hello. Almost gets smashed as well there, which would have made it a 1-for-1. Going with some fancy footwork in the fight. But still, DPLUS with a huge advantage here. And even though HLE were able to get a little bit back there, it's not like that's going to give them alone map control. They're trying to get over here to muster up some priority over this dragon right now as DPLUS limp back to the jungle. And I just don't think this is necessarily the place you want to make your last stand on Chemtech's sole point here for HLE. Not because Chemtech is bad, but just because you're not ready to fight for it. Showmaker has an arm guard for safety for this upcoming fight as well.
Oh god, True Shot Barrage sails over Goomer and Delight here as the Crescent Guard used very early because there's a Viking being delivered to the backline. Goomer's immediately punished. The bot lane goes down and we are flashing in. This Ragnarok is lasting forever as Zeka has to get over the base gate in order to escape. And with those two dead, this is a guaranteed soul point for DPLUS here. They are going from strength to strength, man. There's another kill. Kanavi goes down. What is happening?
I mean, they're getting this inner turret down here. The cool thing about this fight is Lusa looks for the wind becomes lightning. He doesn't find it, but he's just like, you know what? I'm going to send it because there's an Olaf coming. And initially it looks like he's gone too deep onto Guma because Guma's so far back. And you're like, well, you can't get this done alone. But he's not alone. Look at the positioning of Shiu at the beginning of this fight. Look how far away he is, but he's closing the gap. He's closing the gap. They don't have vision on him. He's coming over here. Blast cone in from Mega. And now Kuma's like, oh, half health actually seems pretty bad to be in right now because the Sin jumped on me. And they delete all that damage, and unfortunately Zeka is also cut off. So there's no damage to peel for Zeus here and Kanavi. You just have to retreat. Kanavi's able to taxi his way out here, but Shiu gets the shield.
No.
And so it's even worse. That final auto for Showmaker for HANWHA fans felt like it stayed in the air forever.
Yeah, that was like infinity shields that came in on top of Shiu in the nick of time. His own plus the command protect. And Showmaker has now got a full Zhonya's. There is also the cheeky little book there that he's got and a fully stacked Dark Seal. And I have a feeling that there's a Magi's in the future of DPLUS Kia if they make it there. 4 minutes on the Chemtech Soul. And if you're an HLE fan, you definitely do not want to see that over on DPLUS with how Shiu is going to be playing after that one comes in. Mega Blast Cone is going to deliver Career to a weird spot. But Lucid is in position, and Zeka taking a lot of damage here. True Shot Barrage comes down. Public execution to try and escape as Showmaker goes golden to avoid all of the damage and follow-up. And Kanavi's dead once again.
I think the story of this game will not be about this Baron, will not be about Smash popping off. Most people remember this game as the HANWHA Baron throw.
Yeah.
This one for DPLUS, absolutely safe, as we will see a last-minute contest. They're just going to drop off it and look for the turn.
Looking for the turn. Zeus is going to get exhausted as soon as he shows up. Shiu takes down Delight before the fight has really started. Petrifying Gaze is scary onto Lucid there, slows him up for a moment. And Zeka has finally joined the fight, tries to dash cannon forward, doesn't find the full combo on a Showmaker though, unfortunately, and takes so much damage back in response.
They've got no ults. HLE have no tools to walk through, control vision, and contest this Baron. They're going to have to try.
Kanavi just respawned. As, yeah, I mean, Korea will watch the top laner walk in, but who cares? The Baron is guaranteed, and DPLUS are just going to leave.
They just don't have to turn. They don't have to force an awkward fight. They're a little bit softened up by the Baron. But they knew in that when they turned initially off the Baron, dropped it and looked for the fight, that they could get those resources out of HANWHA. After they did, they knew there was no way. They checkmated that Baron. I don't want to compare this Baron take to HANWHA's because this is a 7,000 gold lead.
Yeah.
But you know, my point was DPLUS, they held their ground. They denied HANWHA so much. HANWHA looked for some very aggressive plays, but DPLUS were able to turn all of their aggression into bigger wins in response, sometimes defensively, sometimes on punishes. And it just felt like the lead trickled until they got the Baron steal, and then suddenly this close game was an incredibly one-sided one.
And now there's 2 minutes on a Chemtech Soul, which would be probably guaranteed end of the game, but that stage might already be there, as Lucid does take a lot of poke. Half of his health bar now down. But this Baron is so difficult to deal with. They don't have a massive amount of range, right? Like, look at this siege minion. It's just chilling, just hanging out. Gumishi will finally get up towards it. But that's because DPLUS have kind of left the vicinity, giving Shield some time to push in this mid lane and get some control back. Bounties are up. That outer turret in the mid lane still somehow up and available.
I think DPLUS are wise to be cautious here because HLE have their ults back up and this composition layers its CC so incredibly well.
Yeah, and you don't have to force it. There's the Petrifying Gaze though. Shockwave is decent as a response, but they've killed Smash! Down will go to Light, but that is not a fair trade as now Lucid trying to fight Kanavi. He'll find it with the Wind Becomes Lightning, and that's going to bring it back towards DPLUS Kia. Oh man, they get their prize though, so there's that.
You can see what I was talking about in that attempt from HANWHA, but ultimately I think it's just too much of a deficit, too much of a hole they are in. Nice attempt here to try to bring this back. There's another one here from Zeka. See if they can push DPLUS out of the base.
Yeah, Zeus is still alive. I have to say that I'm still a little bit frightened. However, they're going to look for the turn. Kamishi gets surrounded and the snake will fall. Now Zeus going to be their next target. Lucid gets the flash, finds the 3-talent strike, and it's a double for Showmaker. Lucid still going back in. They'll find basically an ace because Delight is level 11. He respawns way too early. These Nexus turrets are going to go down. And DPLUS Kia will draw first blood in this Legend Group Series.